I want to thank you for coming to watching another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. There are a few. Today is Friday, October the 25th, 2013. There are a couple of topics that I want to touch on today. I will be talking about Greg Schiano, Alex Rodriguez, and Major League Baseball. I will also be talking about the upcoming NBA season that's about to start next week, as well as Greg Oden. Let's first talk about Schiano. Greg Schiano. For those who don't know, he happens to be the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they're currently 0-7. They're about to be 0-8 when they go visit Seattle next week. And really, the whole situation down in Tampa is a disaster. Right now, everybody wants the coach fired. And I do believe the coach should be and will be fired. So the question is it's not a question of if he should be fired. The question is, when should he be fired? Now, the conventional thought, and right now, people want him out right now. But here's what I was thinking about the last day or so. Why fire him right now? I mean, if you look at him, he's miserable. You can tell. This is a man who, you could just look at the body language on the sideline. He does not look comfortable. This went terribly wrong for him. And we can sit there and debate as to why it went wrong, this, that, and the other. But the reality is, it went wrong. Okay? So he knows he's about to walk the plank. He's about to get fired. The question is not if, it's just a question of when. Right now, everybody wants him out right now. But my question is, if I'm management, what purpose does it serve to get rid of him right now? You, in my opinion, would be doing him a huge favor. Number one, you would be relieving him of the burden of waiting around to get fired. Second, if you fire him now, what you allow him to do is to go look for another head coaching job at the college level, okay? And on top of that, you still got to pay him. So the way I'm thinking of it is this way. Since he created this mess, why not force him to coach out the entire season and then at the end of the year, give him his walking papers? Because to me, firing him right now, the only thing that's going to do is really nothing of significance. It might make guys play a little harder, but the way I'm looking at it is this. The 2014 NFL draft class is supposed to be a quarterback-rich draft. And right now, you have a fight between two teams. And unfortunately, or ironically, they're both in the state of Florida. And that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Those are the two worst teams in all of the NFL, and they just so happen to be the two winless teams in all of the NFL. So right now, if you're Tampa, by firing Greg Schiano will most likely allow you to win some games. The more games you win, the lesser of a draft pick you get, which means you're going to be, instead of drafting one, you're going to be drafting 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So I say, let him coach out this season. Try to go and get that number one pick. Then you can go and get the guy you want. Or if you feel you can get the guy you want a little later, what you can do is trade that number one pick, okay, and get multiple picks. So there are many ways that you can play this if you're Tampa. And so I don't see no real need in firing Schiano right now. You're 0-7, you're not going nowhere. Okay? The season is lost for all intent and purposes. Yes, everybody hates Schiano, but you want to know what? If you survived the first 7 games, you can survive, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, say 9 more games, okay? And then he'll be out of there. All right? So the reality is there's no need to me to fire him right now. If you was going to make that move, you should have made that move during the bye week. Because had you made that move during the bye week, you could have saved the season. But once you chose not to make that move during the bye week, that basically meant you should ride with him the rest of the way. Now, unfortunately, there is some collateral damage here. And the collateral damage is to the young quarterback that they got right now, the rookie called Mike Glennon. Now, he hasn't played badly, but he hasn't exactly impressed either enough where you can say, this is a quarterback of the future. This is a quarterback that I can build around. Okay? He hasn't exactly shown that. And to me, it's not really his fault because the team around him pretty much, how can I put this? It's not very good. The talent is there, but the schemes, the schematics, the play is just not good. And they're finding different ways of losing. And unfortunately, it's making him look bad. And so, if I'm Tampa, this gives me a chance that with the new head coach to go get the quarterback who we feel can, or who they feel can lead them into the future. So I don't think it's going to be Mike Glennon. I don't think he's the quarterback of the future there. And I am certain that Schiano's days is numbered. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when they're going to pull that proverbial trigger and get rid of him. But he will be gone. I'm just simply saying, let it play out for the entire year. Which now brings me on to Alex Rodriguez and Major League Baseball. All right. I've been hearing some discussions regarding Major League Baseball's role in getting the evidence on Alex Rodriguez. Now, I don't have a role to play in this one way or the other. Personally, I could care less. I'm not an Alex Rodriguez fan, and quite frankly, I'm really pissed off of Major League Baseball. Okay? But I am going to defend Major League Baseball on this one point. If they paid someone to get evidence, or if they paid someone for evidence against Alex Rodriguez, or even whether it was gained, the evidence was gained legitimately, or whether it was stolen, to me is irrelevant. But if they paid someone to gain evidence on Alex Rodriguez, I have not a problem with that, and I'm going to explain to you why. Baseball, unlike a government entity like, say, the FBI, baseball doesn't have subpoena power. Baseball cannot subpoena somebody in to tell the truth or to testify. Baseball don't have that kind of power. The police does. The FBI does, okay? They can subpoena and force you to testify. Baseball don't have that kind of leverage. And so since they don't have that kind of leverage, if they want to get information on a said individual, regardless whether it's Alex Rodriguez or whoever, but if they want to get information on a said individual, they're going to have to pay for it. Because nowhere is a criminal or somebody who fractures an occasional law is going to just hand over evidence to to baseball or any other sports governing body without really being forced to, or without some form of compensation. Okay? I mean, it's just like, the FBI, how do they get somebody to turn government witness against their Don or their underboss or something like that? They promise them immunity. They promise them witness protection program. They got to give that person, they got to entice that criminal with something to make it worth their while to turn evidence against whoever the governing body is trying to go after. In this case, the governing body is baseball. They're targeting Alex Rodriguez. Now the question is why, which is a fair question. Why are they targeting Alex Rodriguez? Well, I have a theory or two on this. One of them is which Alex Rodriguez is the highest paid player in baseball. Alex Rodriguez signed that deal with Texas that made him the highest paid player in baseball, and to me, ever since then, it made him a target. Because, see, if Alex Rodriguez was not one of the highest paid, is not the highest paid player in baseball, I don't think baseball would have went through the lengths that he did to try to come up with evidence against Alex Rodriguez. But I don't think baseball did this on their own. I do believe that the Yankees have played a major role in this. The Yankees is trying their hardest to get from underneath Alex Rodriguez's contract. Okay? They're trying their darnest to get from underneath that contract, or as much of it as possible. And so to me, I think baseball has collaborated with the Yankees, or should I say the Yankees have collaborated with baseball to see to it that A-Rod gets the most lengthiest suspension possible. That's why 214 games? That's unprecedented. That's why I think when it's all said and done with, the arbitrator is not going to side with Alex Rodriguez, and I doubt he's going to side with baseball and keep the 214-game suspension. My guess is it's going to be anywhere from 120 to 150-game suspension. Most likely, Alex Rodriguez will be forced to miss the entire season next year. Which is about 162, 163 games. It's going to be somewhere in that range. He's going to be forced to pretty much miss the entire season. And I mean, and Brian Cashman, who happens to be the GM of the Yankees, oh, Alex Rodriguez is important to the team. We need him next year. Please. This is a nice way of the Yankees trying to cover their butts. So this way Alex Rodriguez don't sue their butts. Because everybody knows that the Yankees is collaborating with baseball. The Yankees have the most interest in getting rid of Alex Rodriguez, even more so than baseball. And this is where I think Bud Selig made his mistake. When he handed down the suspensions, okay, he got all the other conspirators, or all the other guilty parties, that's the better word, because it wasn't really a conspiracy, guilty parties. He got them all to take the plea agreement, or to take the deal that Major League Baseball offered. Okay? He could have gotten Alex Rodriguez to do the same. Here was what he should have done. If I am Bud Selig, I would have said, Alex Rodriguez, you have two options that we're offering on the table. Option A is, because Alex, from what is being reported, Alex Rodriguez's team wanted a 100-game suspension. That was what was reported. So here's what I would have said. You get the 100-game suspension, but you must have it in writing that when the 100-game suspension is up, you retire from baseball forever, for good, as a player. Which means your playing days are officially over. Because that was what was reported anyway, that he would take a 100-game suspension and retire. Okay, I would have accepted that if I was Bud Selig. I would have made certain that it was in writing and it would have been for good. So I would have added that clause in there to make certain that he doesn't retire for a season or retire and then come back. No. Or here would have been the second option if he refuses to accept option A. Option B is a 150-game suspension. Boom. It's clean, which means now he missed at most is really one season. And it would have been in Alex Rodriguez's benefit or his best interest to have accepted said agreement. But when you came with 214 games, Alex did, which was, to me, the smart thing. Challenge it. Because why? He's got nothing to lose. Because worst case, the arbitrator says is you missed 214 games. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario is you get it reduced. And any kind of reduction makes Alex Rodriguez look good. Any kind of reduction makes Alex Rodriguez look good. So if I was Major League Baseball, I wanted to keep this out of the hands of the arbitrator as much as possible. That's why I would not have held such a hard stance against Alex Rodriguez regarding this issue. Because you know that you got the evidence via ill-gotten gains, or however you want to say it. But you see, now which brings me to this point regarding baseball. Where I would fault you was that you opened that Pandora's box to all this mess that you have today. How? Because of your greed. You allowed a playoff / World Series to have been canceled one season because of greed. And so now to get the fans back, you had to make what they call is the proverbial deal with the devil, which means we're going to allow, because that old saying, chicks dig the long ball. So, okay, let's add a long ball in there. Now, how are we going to do that? By allowing these guys to get away with the steroids, and we will turn a blind eye. That opened up the entire mess, because now you have the whole thing where you had Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, which I got to admit, that one-time home run chase, it was exciting as hell. But what it did is it destroyed the very fabric of your game. Because the one thing that baseball had that the other sports did not have was the sanctity of records. That is now officially gone. Their records is no more meaningful than basketball, football, or hockey. It's no more meaningful now. Because why? Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire broke Joe DiMaggio's record. They broke the record. You got guys passing Hank Aaron who, quite frankly, took steroids. And then now you have Barry Bonds hitting, who has right now the most home runs in any one particular season. Things right now is so messed up. Baseball, it's like baseball can't get out of its own way. So congratulations, baseball. You created this mess. And now you're forced to clean it up, but it's too late. The damage has been done. We'll be right back.